Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio's, the Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we do every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our intro music is provided from the Podshow PodSafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com. Also, feel free to email your topics for discussion, suggestions, and comments to incoherentramblings@live.com.
Good evening, this is Christopher.
This is Eric.
It is February the 4th, 2010.
10 days from Valentine's Day.
It is, absolutely.
That should be a song.
Hope you're doing well tonight.
I am.
We're broadcasting live here from the internationally famous C&E Studios in Greensboro, North Carolina. A dreary day outside.
It is. We've got some Eskimos out there in the little ice huts. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. And some impending weather, possibly.
Yes.
It'll probably be rain.
And schools will probably be canceled again tomorrow, just on the threat of
a raindrop.
Mm-hmm.
But we did get a decent amount of
yeah, we got 7 inches.
7 inches was the official for
Okay.
Greensboro. Yeah.
Not bad.
No, it was a decent little snow, but wreaked havoc on the highways for some reason, more than it usually seems to for just snow.
I don't think they salted beforehand this time, I think.
They did.
Did they?
Yeah, because I got it all over my car.
And when they were scraping the side roads, it's like they were purposely leaving some on the road.
Well, so it could refreeze and then make things treacherous the next day. Well, I found out last week our UK correspondent, stuck in the 70s, actually,
which is with us today.
Yeah, he is.
Welcome.
He works at a body shop,
and
over in Great Britain they had a little bit of a snowstorm, and his business has been up significantly because of the less favorable driving conditions. Has brought him some business, so he kind of has a understanding of what we've been dealing with over here. So not a lot of snow, but enough snow with. It started off for about, at least here at my house, about 10 minutes worth of ice.
Right.
Then it snowed about 8 inches, and then it sleeted for about 3 hours.
Right.
Little teeny weeny small amount of sleet, but just enough to, so it was like ice, no ice. So and then when it's compacted down, it made it worse.
Right.
It wasn't just snow.
And just so our listeners worldwide know, we're not really prepared for that kind of stuff here. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. 6 inches up there is nothing.
Right.
But here, we just don't know how to handle it. People here don't know how to drive on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the shops around here had their fill of cars.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure.
I cut my fingers on Saturday. It was the day of the storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tried to go to 2 of the emergency cares, closed.
Mm-hmm.
Had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, but Eric is quite infamous
For my
chopping off fingers. There was a camping trip, June of 2001, where he had a brand new knife and severed in between his thumb and his hand, missing a tendon within about 1/8 of an inch, the doctor said. And chopped off your fingers on several different occasions, including last Saturday.
Mm-hmm. This we don't have time on the 1-hour show to go over all of my sharp object-related injuries.
That's true. We would need maybe a 2-hour special.
We would. But this one was done on a table saw. But it never. I don't think my fingers actually got to the teeth of the saw. I think the wood is what did the damage on this one. So, but it's healing up nicely.
That's, I think there's got to be as many injuries on a table saw from kickbacks as there is, or any saw, because, it's...
Well, I was cutting oak, hit a knot, and it took a good chunk out of my
We apologize about that. We had a little technical difficulty. That's the thing about cell phone technology. We went like a year without any issues, and then within a couple months, this is what the third time it's happened.
Right.
So.
But yeah, it was from a kickback, I'm sure. The table saw.
That can be dangerous.
Yep.
Especially if a shark like were to kick up and stab you in the eyeball or something.
Right.
I mean, it's possible.
I tell you what, I was using a router not long ago to round out the manual for the fireplace, and the bit came flying out. Just missed my head by inches. Went flying across the room, hit the wall, bounced across the room, hit another wall, and it spun around the floor like a top for like 10 minutes. I mean, literally, it was like 10 minutes of it. That could have been terrible.
Yeah.
Catch that thing in the face.
Yeah, but see, it would be a lot more likely to go into your hand for you.
Right.
Or a finger or something.
Right. That's true.
You would just look down and you would say, oh, I'm missing a finger.
Right.
How does that happen? You want to give us a little update on your house? Been keeping our listeners apprised of.
Well, hardwood floors are completely refinished throughout the entire first floor. And that's good. We're putting carpet down in the sunroom probably tonight or tomorrow. The house is probably 90% painted. Countertops are probably 80% installed. The hall bath is completed. The laundry room is demoed and getting ready to be rebuilt. So it's coming along. I'm hoping to be done within a month. I think I keep saying that, but just don't need it. Making progress.
So got the floors done. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work, I'm sure.
It was. That was it's like a week and a half on my knees. But it turned out really nice.
I have not seen them.
You not seen the floors?
Not since they've been done. No.
Wow. You need to come by and see
You need to come over and get a photo.
Plus, you need to see the countertops.
Yes.
Because they're set in place.
What's entailed in getting those
the countertops
finished?
The countertops. Where the 245s come together, these are good sized countertops. Like two of them are bar tops and whatnot. So I've got them bolted together, but they're not exactly level. So I'm putting brackets underneath. These things are so big. And once it's put in place, I mean they're 13 feet long and the widest point is almost 4 feet. The bar top's 4 feet deep too, so it's kind of hard to move this thing put together.
I'm sure.
And heavy. So, but it's a two-person job. That's why it hasn't been done yet. But put those brackets to those 45s are completely level, and then I can screw them in place. I've got the hole for the sink. I got it set in place right now. And tomorrow I'll probably cut the hole for the cooktop and the downdraft, the pop-up downdraft. And then screwing everything in place. That's it.
Okay. Then that'll be done.
Yeah.
Now, how about your cabinets? What? Putting the doors back on? Is that going to be?
It'll be
painful, I think.
Yeah, because every door's got to be resized, and so I got to put biscuits inside each. Cut them to the proper size. Put biscuits in there, glue them together. It's going to be time.
Biscuit?
Biscuit.
I'm hungry, so.
That will be the next time, most time consuming thing. Probably the most time consuming thing. Well, yeah, probably the most time consuming.
I just saw a story caption that says, man's head baked in pizza oven. I don't know if I even want to click on that link.
I was thinking, I don't know what made me think of this. But we have some extreme midget wrestling coming to town. And I know you already have tickets?
No, I'm going to get tickets tomorrow.
You plan on going?
Yes.
And I got to thinking on the way over here, I wonder if it's a normal size ring. Or if it's like a midget ring.
Well, the venue where it is, I've seen inside there, and tickets Well, actually, what a lot of people don't realize, a normal-sized wrestling ring is really not that large.
Right.
I think there's room enough for it to fit in there. I just don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I guess I'll find out Friday night. But yes, and for people who think midget is a demeaning term, well, that's just that's the name of the organization. It's called Extreme Midget Wrestling.
Right.
I've been to their website. They are touring the country right now. And yes, they will be here in Greensboro, North Carolina, tomorrow night at the Inn Club, downtown Greensboro. So if you enjoy wrestling and if you enjoy midgets, it's going to be a perfect show. My girlfriend asked me if I was serious about going. I said, wrestling good, midget's great. Wrestling midget's awesome. I mean, kind of ripped that off from Jim Gaffigan, but yeah. Yeah, so if you live in Greensboro or the area, great. Fruitcake, nasty crap.
Do Wikipedia for midget wrestling. I didn't realize. I thought this was a more recent thing. This was
no,
for a long time. I was reading all the history on the way,
Yeah, I mean, it's been a big deal. The heyday of midget wrestling was in the 1950s and 60s.
Yeah. I mean, it goes way back.
Lord Little Beaver, Lord Littlebrook, Fuzzy Cupid,
Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggle is the current wrestler in the WWE. Yes, on the Raw brand.
I like that name.
Hornswoggle.
A picture of him on here.
Yes.
Like an Irishman.
Yeah.
He's like a...
They call him a leprechaun. Yep. And he has a little shillelagh, which he comes out and beats people over the head with and stuff. That's just quite a...
It says notable midget wrestlers down here at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the, which one was it? Short Sleeve Samson. Isn't that one of the ones that's going to be there tomorrow?
I think so.
So he's a notable wrestler, too.
He is notable.
So you'll actually get to see a notable midget wrestler.
A friend of mine suggested maybe I send them an email and see if I could become part of the show, since it's been a very long time since I'm familiar with the ring.
Right. And
maybe I wouldn't get hurt working with people a tenth my body weight.
They might die.
No, I would be humorous and I would be a big guy losing to a midget. Anyhow, it's going to be fun. If you're in Greensboro or the local area and you want to go, you should.
I like that. The Little People of America, LPA, have criticized midget wrestling as reinforcing stereotypes. And they find the name offensive as a racial slur.
Yeah. Yeah. I was told today that midget was not the preferred term. It was like, it used to be little people, now it's small people. That's ridiculous. I was going to say that's retarded, and then I was going to go into my Rahm Emanuel spiel, which is a reader-submitted story. You heard about that, right?
I don't think I did.
Oh, you have? Well, I'll go ahead and share it with you right now. You know Rahm Emanuel. You know who he is. He was he was in a meeting. I don't know who all was present at this meeting. I don't know, but in a meeting, and he called either someone or someone's idea effing retarded. And now there's a big uproar. People on the right are calling for his resignation or firing.
Oh my gosh.
People on the left are saying, that it was offensive and, you shouldn't call them retarded. God's children are all special. And it's really ridiculous. And then the reader who submitted this, the listener who submitted this, actually brought up a really good point. Nobody has said word one about him dropping the F-bomb. In my opinion, that's not professional. I don't think that should be used in the workplace amongst your peers and not in a meeting of that high of standards. Now, in his personal life, fine, but he's in a meeting. He represents, the White House, and he's going to call something effing retarded. I just don't think that's professional. If he didn't even drop the F-bomb, if he said that's retarded, I don't think that was the right place to use that terminology.
Right. Plus, retarded doesn't have to refer to the type of people. It could just mean slow, dim-witted, not a bright response, or not a bright idea.
Right. Well, I never have. And I've said this on the show. People know, if you've been listening for a long time, I have a special place in my heart for retarded children because I tutored them in high school and I sponsored them in Special Olympics. And I've actually donated time, money, and equipment, computer equipment, to the Special Olympics, and have no issues with that. I don't see where the term, as you said, a retard in music is a place, a measure where you slow down the tempo. Retarded just simply means slow or not fully developed. Right. That's all it means. It's not an insult.
Right.
So you could take it. See, this is where this is kind of how things evolve. Retarded used to be the term that was used, and then because children are mean and people are mean, and that's just how things happen, it became like how you would slur someone. And so now the term is mentally handicapped. Well, if you say they're mentally handicapped, 30 years from now, mentally handicapped will be a slur.
Right.
Because that's what they are. They're mentally handicapped. They are retarded. So if you're saying it to be mean, it doesn't matter what the word is, you're still being mean. But when I say retarded, I'm not saying it as a slur or an insult to the people. It's like saying that I'm tall and white. I'm 6'6" and I'm white. I'm not insulted by that because it's a fact. So, but here's where I want to get to. Here's the double standard, though. Seriously, and this is controversial, and we usually don't get that controversial on the show. But this is the double standard. If it had been anyone from the right, name them: Rush, Neil Gord, Bill, O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, anybody like that, or someone in Congress from the right, and they would have said this: the left would be burning them in effigy, demanding for them to be, either resign or be fired, and all the special interest groups would be pitching a fit, apology or not.
Right.
When this happens on the left, and this isn't my opinion, this is just simply a fact of a trend that I've seen over the past about 2 years. When it happens on the left, they issue an apology, and then they're like, well, we apologize, they accept it, we're moving on. I don't see how people are so blind to that double standard, because Emmanuel apologized. And so then the president is like, well, he apologized, they accept it, we're moving on. And then you have someone from the right, I could give you a whole bunch of different examples, but I won't go. But someone from the right, gets upset during a Congress session and yells out, "You lie," or whatever. Right. They apologize. Well, that's not good enough.
Right.
How many apologies have we heard from the Reverend Jesse Jackson? So he goes and makes an issue out of someone. They apologize, and he's like, "That's not good enough. We don't accept your apology." But when they apologize, they're like, "Well, we apologize, accept it, we're moving on." It's a double standard, and that makes them crazy. And regardless of where you are in your political beliefs, you can't deny facts. That is a fact.
Right.
So, I'm looking here. Let me look at the story real quick. And then, of course, Sarah Palin chimed in, calling for his firing, but she has a special place in her heart because she has a child that is retarded.
Right.
And, she's like, this is ridiculous, it's offensive to all of God's children, special, blah, blah, blah. And then, her son, Trig, has Down syndrome.
Right.
I don't think the guy should be fired. I really don't. I don't think he should be fired. I think he should be I think the president or somebody should say, that was, not professional, that was not acceptable. He shouldn't have said this. That's not what we try to represent as the people that run this country. And then he apologizes, and then we're done. So, I don't think it was appropriate, but I don't think he should be fired over it either.
Right.
But by God, if it were someone from the right, they would say he should be fired.
Right.
That's where I get confused. It's kind of frustrating to me. Anyhow, I'll get off my soapbox. So you said something about something was retarded, and that's what got me on that.
Speaking of retarded midget wrestling, I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, I have no idea how we got off on that.
It doesn't matter. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, and that's true. UK correspondent says the English language evolves, words take on different meanings. For a period of time, I was working for a company that had, I had coworkers that lived and worked in Newfoundland. And when they would speak to me, they would say words that, I mean, it's not like if you heard an Asian person, let's say a Korean person speaking Korean, you would say, that sounds Asian. You wouldn't say, well, that sounds like English, I just don't understand what they're saying. Right. But when these people spoke, it sounded like English words coming out of their mouth, but I didn't understand what a lot of them were. So my counterpart up there sent me an online Newfoundland to American translation dictionary, which was very helpful because when they would say blah, 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 I was like, I don't know what the word is. I would go to that link and I would look it up, and then I would know what they were saying.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, that proves words evolve, and then words also get left behind because like they were using. I think one of the words he kept calling me. He said that my dog was a Suki, and he called I forget what he called me. Anyhow, I looked at what a Suki is just.
Second and 70s has got a perfect example right
there. Yeah, exactly. He does. Yeah, he's talking about how it evolves. He says in the 70s, if you were gay, it meant you were happy or cheerful.
Right.
Exactly. Happy or cheerful was gay. Yeah. So I mean, well, that's what the word gay means.
Right.
I mean, that is its true meaning. You know, happy, cheerful, jubilant. So yeah, I mean. Words take on different meanings or get left behind.
What could it be today?
No. Who knows? It was acceptable. It wasn't acceptable. It was acceptable people who were claimed to be gay, and it was acceptable for everybody, and then it was offensive. Then it was acceptable again. I can't keep up with. Right. That's why I don't worry about political correctness because it's too hard to keep up with. Because I saw on a documentary where midgets said the word midget or dwarf was offensive, and then they wanted to be called little people. And then about 10 years after that, they were saying that they didn't want to be called little people. They wanted to be called midgets because that's, in fact, what they were. And now I'm told they don't want to be called midgets. They want to be called small people. So you can't keep up with it. It's impossible. Unless you are a midget, then and you're in the know, which I'm not. And neither is Eric. Yeah. Bella is a dog. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Bitch.
She is. She is a bitch. She is.
Is that offensive to you, Bella? Did I call you a bitch?
She's not offended. She's wagging her nub. The show's official mascot, Bella. So, if you want to watch some midget wrestling, come on down to Greensboro. Hey, we can give you a tour of the internationally famous CD studios, and you can meet Bella, the show's official mascot.
Yeah, the short sleeve Samson.
Yes. You may even get like a picture with him on an autograph.
In a headlock. I was telling you earlier, our first show on the radio, they said extreme midget wrestling. I didn't know if extreme midget meant extremely midget, like extremely small, or extreme, like they were really built and buff and like an extreme sport.
I think it's actually extreme wrestling.
Oh, okay.
That midgets are doing. It should be called midget extreme wrestling if you want to get technical with it. Listener says people should bite the bullet. Just tell them you're a midget. Get over it. Yeah, honestly, I've never been offended by someone saying you're tall. I don't even think I'm tall.
What if they said you were a giant?
I've been called giant on a regular time. I've been called giant. I've been, hell's there up there? You know, you must play basketball. I'm like, I'm not like 7'3".
Right.
But it doesn't offend me.
What's the difference between a dwarf and a midget? Or is that just another way of saying it?
No, there is a difference. Okay. It's a term, dwarfism describes someone of a short stature, under 4'10". No.
Okay.
There is a difference. Okay, one means they're disproportionate. Like, you know, when their head looks ginormous, but the body, and then the other one is where they are proportionate, just like a person who's not a dwarf, but just a smaller proportion.
Okay.
I can't remember.
The midgets might have big heads and small bodies, but dwarfs might just be small
Yes,
all over.
yeah, they're just proportionately smaller all over. Yes. Yes, so, I mean, it's different things, growth hormone deficiency, growth hormone. There's all many, you know, birth defects. I mean, it's unfortunate. I saw, you know what, while we're on it's a similar topic. Last night I saw a documentary on conjoined twins that were separated. And there was these two.
Were they dwarfs?
No.
So how's it on topic?
people that are different.
Okay.
And make a big deal out of it. There was these two young men, and when they were separated, they both lost a leg because of where they were conjoined. And one of them is married, has fathered a child with his wife, and the child looks like he's probably about 2.5, 3, you know, running around on two hands and 1 foot, chasing him through the park and playing, getting himself around in a wheelchair, helping his wife wash dishes. I mean, living a normal life. And they asked him toward the end of the show, he had something about, has it been difficult? Has it been hard? And he goes, you know, he's like, it's funny. It's like people always said, you know, has it been hard not being normal? He's like, this is all I've ever known, thus it is normal. I was like, that was really, I mean, it's not like he used to have, you know, a regular body, 2 arms, 2 legs, and then he got in a wreck, he lost a leg, and then he was like crippled up and couldn't stand up straight. And then all of a sudden, well, it's not all he's ever known, so yeah, it's difficult. That's all this kid has ever known his entire life. He's like, how is it hard? He goes, it's what I've always noticed. This is normal. Right. And, you know, he's like, you know, I don't care if people stare at me. He's like, I'm happy. I have a wife. I have a child. I go to a job. I take a shower. He's like, I go swimming in the pool. He's like, you know, I don't care if they stare at me. I'm a normal guy. Right. So I thought that was really a good way. It's a good way of looking at it. And so maybe that's how the midgets should look at it. That's right. This is normal.
Embrace their midgetness.
I am a normal person. This is just how God created me. Exactly. So,
it could be worse. It could be a dwarf midget.
They could be a dwarf midget.
Appreciate what they got.
Yes. And there's all kinds of different, like, you know, forms of dwarfism here. It's quite interesting. I don't know. I can't read all this.
Wikipedia makes you sound smart.
Yes, it does. I have to tell. I know he would never come across the show, and I won't use his name in case he would. There was someone that I used to work with that would lurk in the hallway, hear what you were talking about, run back to his office, Google it, and then come back and take over your conversation and know everything about everything you were saying. And I know this, and I figured this out, and here's the reason why. I was talking about someone that I knew that was going to Moldova. Prior to this possibility, I had heard the name. I knew it was somewhere in Eastern Europe. I knew nothing about it. I didn't know where in Eastern Europe. I didn't know the capital, the traditions. I didn't know anything about it whatsoever. So I'm sitting there enthusiastically telling a coworker about it because it was something new, and they were excited about it too.
Right.
He comes in, takes over the conversation, goes on and on about it. I went back to my desk, and I went to Wikipedia, and he was basically quoting Wikipedia to us. So there's no way that was a coincidence.
Right.
So yeah, Wikipedia can make you sound kind of smart.
Right.
But my mom always says, how do you know everything about everything? She's like, I know you're smart, but I was like, no, I'm actually not smart. I'm just reading it off the internet. And I have to say this because it ties in some weird way. True story. I'm not going to go into all the details, but I was at Costco parking lot. Things got heated. A younger guy about my age was yelling and screaming at an older guy and like getting ready to get violent. And I told him to shut his mouth, quit embarrassing himself, get in his car and leave. And he did. And the older gentleman asked me, he said, "Are you a police officer?" And without hesitation, I said, "No, but I did stay at Holiday Inn last night."
That had to do with anything.
Huh? What? But because I was just talking about knowing all this stuff, and I said, my mom said, "How do you know everything?" And I was like, well, I don't know everything, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. That's what, and then I bounced over. Anyhow, good story. I told him that, and the guy started laughing. I've been waiting for years to use that, and I finally got a chance to use it in a real-life situation.
Right.
See, incoherent rambling. That's what we do. Oh, well, that's what I do.
Reminds me of when Dave and I were at my house waiting for you to show up. We watched Jeopardy. And then you pulled up and we rewound it to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then while you were sitting there, Jeopardy was playing. It wasn't live, but you thought it was, and we knew the answer to every single question.
Well, I didn't. I suspected something was off, but I didn't say, it's 8:13. Jeopardy wouldn't just be coming on right now.
Right.
But I did suspect something was off because you guys were acting sheepish. But what definitely gave it away was something was like George Jefferson, and you said Jeff Jorgensen or something like that. I think it was actually Dave that did that. He kind of like, and I was like, wait a second. Wait, no. And then I looked and I think it was like 8:13. I was like, you guys. That was funny though. Yeah, that was a good one. So, I don't have any good news stories.
I don't have any good news stories.
I don't. All of my good news story sources, both Heroes and Angels and Wonderful World, don't have anything new from what they had last week. So apparently there's been nothing good in the world that they felt to report on. So
I'll look through and see if I can find any that can use it.
Oh, this one could be a good news story.
This is an update.
It is an update.
We had a story months ago about a cat that that was in a hospital, and it could predict who was going to die next. It would always lay down with whoever was going to be the next person to die.
Mm-hmm.
And it's credited as far as being accurate 50 times.
Right.
And in fact, there was one of the nurses were stating how they knew this one person was going to die like that night. And they kept trying to put the cat in with that person. Mm-hmm. And she would get up and she would leave and she would go down the hallway and lay down on the bed with somebody else who they thought was nowhere close to dying, And sure enough, that person died that night.
Right.
And the person they thought was going to die that night did.
Wow.
And usually the cat would just pick who it's going to, who it thought was, I shouldn't say who it thought was going to die next, but it would just pick its own, where it was going to sleep that night. And oftentimes that would be the person that died. Well, the doctor of that hospital, who kind of brought this cat to light, has written a book with his thoughts on what it's doing, and he thinks that humans put off some sort of pheromone smell when they're close to death that cats can pick up on.
The smell of death.
The smell of death.
My grandma talked about it.
That humans can't detect, but apparently cats can.
So if this cat were to go up and snuggle up to a mirror, does that mean the cat's going to die? Perhaps. There was a show on TV about this. Not about this. It was one of my mystery shows, NCIS, CSI, Criminal Minds, where a cat was going, and like
House,
yeah.
It was House. I
And the
remember
people,
that.
and the person would die, and then people were like, "Get the cat away from me!"
Right.
Yeah.
And House deduced that it was the warmth, but the people who had the fever, the warmest people, is where it was going.
Right. Well, I don't think necessarily the cat knew who was going to die. I think my personal opinion is I know for a fact that animals can detect emotions.
Right.
And when you're upset, there's been times when I've been upset, and Bella, who is not an affectionate dog, will come up and be affectionate to me. So I know they can detect emotions, and maybe they could just detect that. Maybe they could detect when someone's not doing well physically,
right,
and they just were trying to give that person some comfort.
Right.
I don't know. Interesting story, though.
Yeah. But not really a good news story.
No, not. Well, I mean, it's good news. They know they're not going to suffer anymore. So that's where I'm coming from. Right. We don't have good news stories. Well, this is a good news story. This one right here. If you've been wanting maybe like the Jetsons or a jetpack, this is definitely a good news story for those people.
Well, here you go. Allegro Medical has partnered with billionaire Sir Richard Branstone of Virgin Atlantis to launch a jet-powered mobility scooter business called Virgin Mobility. Our partnership with Sir Richard is a logical choice. His companies have set standards in jet-powered transportation and will continue to do so in the foreseeable future. They went on to say how he was involved in lots of different I was trying to reach me bad. Different transportation venues, and that the mobility scooter business was his next big launch. But let's see, they said powered by twin-engine jet turbines, the mobility scooter is capable of going from 0 to 100 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds. Sounds very safe.
That sounds crazy.
It does, doesn't it?
Hey, Bernice and Joy, tell everyone which power wheelchair got you to the Grand Canyon.
I'm around. Now I'm free to see the world.
Of course, hover-rounds have a top speed of 8 miles per hour.
Yes.
Slight difference there. Probably goes 0 to 8, though, in 4.2 seconds.
Oh, our UK correspondent just pointed out a very good point.
With that
story conflicts with our sponsor.
It does.
But since they are our official sponsor, I guess we don't have to worry about any kind of lawsuit or legal action.
Yeah.
I have never flown on Virgin Airlines, but I have heard that the first class is actually quite nice. You have like little pods, and your chair will recline and meet up with another one. You can completely lay down. They have blankets and pillows, or it maybe even sometimes enclosures. You can take showers. So, I mean, if I were going to have to fly in 20 hours, it's kind of nice to be able to sleep, overnight.
Absolutely.
Have a shower.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd want to drink water from that plane, though.
I don't know what made me think of this, but I saw on HGTV yesterday where it was an indoor-outdoor bed in a bedroom. It was like a really old house, like the 1820s or something. And it had like a screened porch, and this wooden arched wall would slide down. So when the bed was inside, and then you could slide it open, and you would sleep out underneath the screened-in porch area.
Okay. Oh, so it is screened in. It's not like bugs and elements.
Right. Screened in.
It's interesting.
The shape of that arched opening.
It's probably a draft in the room, though. I don't know how they could get that sealed up tight.
I don't know how either. But it's original, and it was built in 1820, so apparently when they did it right then.
Right. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's 3 of those types of beds still in existence from that time frame. and the person who built the house had it installed because the doctor told him that his daughter, who was training to be a opera singer or something like that, the night air would be good for her voice. Yeah. I don't know how I got off on that tangent. Sleeping on a plane to that, but...
Well, here's a story from Tennessee. A Tennessee sheriff's deputy arrested on a drunken driving charge wound up in a doghouse before he was taken to the big house. This is an actual deputy.
Okay.
The Kingsport Times News reported the details of a Tennessee Highway Patrol arrest report, which said 47-year-old Samuel Monroe Bledsoe was kicking the windows of his trooper's cruiser on his way to the hospital for a blood test. The report says Bledsoe was then locked inside the cruiser's canine cage for his safety. Trooper David Osborne said in the report that Bledsoe performed poorly during a field sobriety test, even after it was explained to him 18 times. Maybe he was retarded. Right? The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office later fired Bledsoe. He's been freed on a $1,500 bond.
Huh. I don't think he got in trouble for doing it.
Yeah.
I've got...
Yeah, well, if a sheriff gets a DUI, they're probably going to get fired.
I agree. Here's a drinking and, you can't really call it driving. Well, they called it drunk in charge of a carriage. A disabled man from Darlington has been arrested after he gave a lift to a friend on his mobility scooter while 3 times over the alcohol limit. Nigel Lee Drummond was arrested after he was recorded by surveillance cameras weaving erratically through the streets of Darlington at 8 miles per hour after he and his friend left a local bar. But because scooters do not count as cars under normal drink driving laws, Drummond was arrested under an obscure Victorian law which bans being drunk in charge of a carriage. Police warn that while mobility scooters don't go very fast, they still can pose a hazard to pedestrians and other road users. He was very drunk. He was ordered to pay £65.
Well, that apparently is not the case here, at least in some states, because we've had stories on the show where they've got DUIs on a mobility scooter.
Right. Right.
In fact, I had a follow-up a couple weeks ago about one of our DUI stories where they're trying to auction off the mobility scooter.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so, I mean, it can happen here. If you're in the USA, you might not want to drink and mobility scoot.
No.
That's just public service announcement. Well, kids play it, a game called Chicken, right?
Uh-huh.
It's actually a quite stupid game to play in an automobile.
Right.
This comes to Glendale, California. A black chicken who spent 2 months dodging cars, coyotes, and captors at a busy Glendale intersection is a sitting duck no more. Berna Arnold and her 8-year-old son said they used fishing nets to catch the elusive hen and move her to their home, where she's living with a horse, a bearded dragon, lizards, and 3 other chickens. That's the reason why I read this story. It's not often that...
What kind of farm is it?
It's not often you hear about this. Pasadena Humane Society Animal Control officers tried at least 7 times in the last 2 months to catch the bird, which they considered a traffic hazard. They weren't trying hard enough. I'm pretty sure a 30-06 would have done the trick. A spokeswoman said that the hen always flew into the trees or ran off into traffic, and officers would have to back off. Witnesses named the bird Lucky. So a chicken was playing chicken.
Right. That's funny.
And now it lives with a bearded dragon. I've never heard of a bearded dragon. Have you?
I have not.
Well, apparently it's a common search.
It must be a common farm animal.
Right here is a bearded dragon.
For their eggs.
It's one of 7 species of the agamid lizards.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I see why they call it a bearded dragon. There you go. It looks like it has a gonad or something hanging from it. I don't.
sent me that link of a Mad TV video of something. What was it? It was
Flavor Flav?
Oh, Flavor Flav. Well, YouTube had underneath it another Mad of the most butch lesbian or something like that. Did you happen to watch it? It was a guy who was pretending to be a woman that was dating a lesbian. Oh. And he goes to a lesbian bar, and she introduces this guy as her girlfriend to her other two girlfriend lesbians that are at the bar, and they're of course they know that they have suspicions that he's a guy. And it comes out that when the guy and the girl have sex, that he never takes his clothes off. He goes, well, maybe tonight you can take your clothes off when we when we have sex. He goes, yes, but I have to warn you, my vagina looks like a penis in the scrotum. I don't want anything of that, but I don't either. Here's a lizard or dragon. Maybe think of a butch lesbian. I don't know.
Okay, let's we'll stop over.
I have another mobility scooter story.
Yes, I think you should read that real quick.
Granddad, 4 times the limit on a mobility scooter. This is from January 15th. A granddad on a mobility scooter was nearly 4 times the drink and drive limit when he was stopped by police with a woman on his knee.
Mm-hmm. Not a banjo.
Not a banjo. John Powell, who was riding along the pavement, said, I was only going 4 miles an hour at the time, so I wasn't going quickly, but the police officer told me I had been causing chaos when he pulled me over. How could I have been causing chaos on a mobility scooter going 4 miles an hour? It's walking speed. Powell, 51, who admitted that he had knocked back a rum or two and a couple of pints of bitter, said the police overreacted. I don't regret it. I don't think I was doing anything wrong. You should be allowed to enjoy yourself.
I have to admit he has a pretty good argument there.
Right.
How could you be causing chaos at 4 miles at walking, the speed of walking? Right. But then again, you could cause chaos just walking down the street. So.
Yes. That was fun.
Here's an odd story. It's kind of an ironic twist. This comes to us from Slavia. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of the city. Ljublja. Missing some vowels. A Slavian who saved his 3 dogs from being put down for attacking humans was himself mauled to death by them. The irony hits you right there in the first paragraph. 3 dogs bit their 52-year-old owner to death. 4 years ago, the 3 bull mastiffs attacked and seriously injured a passerby outside their owner's house. They spent years in custody pending legal hearings, but when one of them attacked a dog handler, authorities ordered them to be put down. Their owner, a doctor, succeeded last June in his legal appeals to get the dogs back, sparking a national controversy. After his death, an opposition party said the agriculture minister should resign for failing to stop the dogs from being released. The dogs attacked the man in his garden Tuesday, killing him before police arrived. All 3 dogs were put down following the attack.
So that's not a happy ending.
Obviously, that may be a little bit more grim than we normally cover here. Not that it's, well, it is funny. Not that it's joyous or,
gay.
It's not that it's gay. If we were stuck in the 70s, like our UK correspondent, not that it's gay.
That story makes me gay.
Well, it does have dogs in it. I'm sure they do it doggy style. what was that from Dumb and Dumber? Remember, she's like, how do you breed your dog? And he's like, mostly dog style. I just thought that was kind of ironic enough to be humorous. He, for years, pulled out all these legal appeals until he got his dogs free.
Right.
It killed someone, and they turned around and killed him. Right. And then the dogs were put down. I should have read that story because I want a bull mastiff. It might scare people. Any dog can turn crazy. Any breed. And when they do, you euthanize them. Anyhow, it was not a feel-good story, but an interesting story. Don't you have a story about a taxi driver?
Oh, yeah, I do have some
odd stuff here.
Let's see here. Yes, here we go. This comes from Johannesburg.
Mm-hmm.
Drunk driver had 49 children in a 16-seat taxi. South African...
No, wait. Are you sure this wasn't from Mexico?
They were all dwarf midgets.
All the way to the ankle of spring midget wrestling.
South African minibus taxi driver 5 times over the legal blood alcohol limit at breakfast time. He was just getting started. Was arrested on Wednesday for transporting 49 children in a 16-seat vehicle. The 26-year-old man was pulled over at a routine checkpoint where traffic officials found the children aged between 3 and 13 crammed on top of each other for their morning ride to school.
I just did the math. That's 3.0625
per seat.
Per seat. There were some that were the 0.0625 were quite uncomfortable, I would venture out to say.
With the Soccer World Cup just months away, police are cracking down on rogue taxi operators in the hope that foreign visitors will use minibuses to get around the country. So anyway, I love that. It's breakfast time.
He wasn't just intoxicated. He was what, 3 times over the legal limit.
Ultimate carpooling, though, isn't it? It's eco-friendly.
He's green. He's going green. This comes to us from Washington State. The donated cantaloupe that arrived at the Chelan County Regional Justice Center looked more like a pumpkin. Jail Administrator Phil Stanley said there was a noticeable cut around the top, and jail officers who intercepted the melon Monday before it reached inmates found tobacco and a baggie full of oxycodone pills stuffed inside. Stanley said the jail routinely uses surplus food from local grocery stores, and contraband has come in with food in the past. In this case, a surveillance camera at the Plaza Superjet had showed 2 young women dropping off a shopping bag containing the melon. It was placed with surplus food that was later picked up by jail staffers. They alerted the jail after they looked at the video. Investigation is continuing. I just thought that was I'm not going to go any lower than we've already been on the show. But people know a story about the cantaloupe, and I was thinking maybe that's why they were sending the cantaloupe in for maybe a conjugal visit with the inmates.
I thought we weren't going to go lower.
And the tobacco was there for when they were done.
I see.
Anyhow.
Speaking of conjugal visits, don't we have a story of something that can be used in lieu of Viagra?
Oh, yes, we do. Yes.
Here we go.
The people in Lexington should, this should be good news for them.
Yeah. Pork better for sex than Viagra.
Mm-hmm.
This comes from Buenos Aires. Argentina's president recommended pork as an alternative to Viagra Wednesday, saying she spent a satisfying weekend with her husband after eating barbecued pork. Well, if that's not scientific proof right there.
Pfizer better watch out.
I'm sorry. I was reading on to see if there's anything else worth
You're like, I'm going to go to Shane's tonight. Oh, for people who don't know, that's a local barbecue restaurant we frequent.
Yes. Anyway, I don't do the rest of this. It's funny.
Yeah, that is quite scientific, isn't it?
It is.
No.
Bacon's pork, isn't it?
Bacon is pork. Maybe that explains some of the... Yeah, we don't have much going on today.
Yeah.
I read about this earlier, and I think it's kind of odd.
What's that?
Going overboard. We've had stories like this before. A tiny toy led to big trouble for a fourth grader in New York City. Patrick Timoney, a 9-year-old student at PS 52 in Staten Island, was in the school cafeteria playing with his Legos when he was taken to the principal's office and threatened with suspension. He was playing with Legos. That's suspension worthy.
Oh, absolutely.
One of his toys was a Lego policeman that holds a 2-inch plastic gun. The school has a no-tolerance policy when it comes to toy guns. I wish I had a soundbite. I wish I had a soundbite of Rom and Manuel from that meeting so we could play it with stories like this.
That's effing retarded.
The gun was so little, the boy said, I wouldn't really think the principal would cause a lot of commotion for just a little gun. The boy's mother was fuming over this. You don't traumatize a child who loved to go to school, who wanted to be early every day. You don't make him cry. You don't make him fill out statements holding back tears. You just don't do it. The boy's father, a retired police officer, was also upset, saying he's dealt with people who use imitation weapons as a way to threaten others to commit crimes, and this situation is different considering the pinky-sized gun in question.
Not even pinky-sized.
No. Not unless you're a midget.
Right.
Then you might have a 2-inch pinky.
That's right.
Department of Education policy states there can be no imitation guns on school property, and a representative said that the principal has ultimate discretion, and this one felt there was no reason for concern. You need to exercise good judgment. In my opinion, this was the wrong call. She says she may sue over what she calls a lack of common sense. Now, I agree with her except for the suing part. I wish everybody just quit suing at the drop of a hat. But, I mean, we see a picture of it here.
It's not even 2 inches.
I know. That's...
Well, maybe the gun is. Why?
Anyhow, I think that, if they have a zero tolerance policy, you're not allowed to have toy guns. Take it away from him, give it back to him, send a note home with his parents saying he's not allowed to bring it back.
Right.
But the threatening with suspension, I mean, if he had a toy gun that he was going around and showing off to brandishing, acting like he was going to hurt someone, then yes. But it was a Lego.
Right.
We might have well, as a guest on our show.
Indeed.
Okay. Well,
wasn't like it was a breast implant full of explosives.
Yeah. We'll have to say that for next week.
We will. A little teaser.
Yeah. We have some terrorists that are recruiting women with exploding breast implants.
Yes.
And you'll hear about it next week on our show. Thanks. Stuck in the 70s. You're great. And the rest of you guys, we appreciate you too.
This has been Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, and we would like to thank you for listening to our show today. Don't forget to tune in for next week's show, live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we are every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time.